Hello, dear students. I'm very pleased to meet you again. How are you today? I hope you are in good health. Our topic today is about misplaced and dangling modifiers. Let's start with a question. What is a modifier? A modifier is a word or phrase that qualifies or modifies a word, phrase, or clause. And there are types of modifiers. Adjectives modify nouns and pronouns. For example, the red house. The word red is a modifier. It qualifies the noun here, house. Adverbs modify verbs. For example, he ran quickly. Quickly is an adverb which or modifier which describes the verb. Modifier phrases modifying an action or an act. Looking at the clock, he noticed that he was late. Looking at the clock, this is a modifying phrase or phrase modifier. What is a misplaced modifier? A misplaced modifier is a word or word group whose placement suggests that it modifies one word or phrase when it is intended to modify another. Dear students, we should put modifying elements in the sentence correctly so that the meaning is perfectly clear. And the sentences here are misplaced. The first one, more beautiful than any human being, the explorer noticed the mermaid. Wild and untamed, Jack entered the jungle. The third sentence, morning in haunting places, the house contained many ghosts. These sentences are misplaced. In order to avoid awkward sentences, you have to put the modifying words in a position that clearly identifies the head words. Look at these examples. More beautiful than any human being, the explorer noticed the mermaid. This is incorrect. The correct one is to say the explorer noticed the mermaid, which was more beautiful than any human being. The modifying element comes after the mermaid. It modifies the mermaid, which was more beautiful than any human being. Look at another example here. Wild and untamed, Jack entered the jungle. The correct one is to say Jack entered the wild and untamed jungle. We put modifiers before the noun here. Wild and untamed before the noun jungle. Let's move to another example. Morning in haunting voices, the house contained many ghosts. This is incorrect. The correct sentence is to say the house contained many ghosts that moaned in haunting voices. The modifying elements comes after ghosts. Let's move to a dangling modifier. What's meant by a dangling modifier? A dangling modifier is a word or phrase that cannot logically describe, limit, or restrict any word or word group in the sentence. Look at these examples of dangling modifiers in these sentences. Using a variety of pedagogical techniques, the students were taught grammar. The second one, to improve his essay, each page was proofread. The third one, while reading the novel, the pages that contain important information should be marked. These sentences are full of dangling modifiers. Let's move to fix the previous examples. To improve and to fix the previous examples, we must add a word that the dangling modifier can logically modify. So we can change the subject of the main clause. Examples: using a variety of pedagogical techniques, the students were taught grammar. This sentence is a dangling modifier in this sentence. So to correct it, we can say using a variety of pedagogical techniques, the teacher instead of the student, the teacher taught the students grammar. We change the subject here in the main clause in order to avoid dangling modifiers. Is it clear? I hope so. The next example, to improve his essay, each page was proofread. In order to avoid dangling modifier, we should use a subject here in the main clause by saying to improve his essay, David or someone else proofread each page. The next example, while reading the novel, the pages that contain important information should be marked. In order to avoid dangling modifier in this sentence, we can use a subject here in the main clause. So the sentence will be, while reading the novel, you should mark the pages that contain important information. We change the passive voice into active voice. You should mark the pages that contain important information. More examples of dangling modifiers. Let's read the first sentence. Staring out over the ocean, the hurricane winds were daunting. In order to avoid dangling modifier here, we should add a person in the main clause. Because the hurricane is not alive and it is not a machine. It cannot stir anywhere. So we add a person. We can say staring out of the ocean, Matt or someone else saw the daunting hurricane winds. In the second sentence, when in third grade, my mother went back to college. This is a matter of logic. My mother couldn't have gone back to college in third grade. So we can say when I was, we put here a clause, subject and verb. When I was in third grade, comma, my mother went back to college. In this way, we can avoid dangling modifier by putting or inserting subject and verb in the subordinate clause. When I was in third grade, comma, my mother went back to college. This is a correct sentence. And this way we avoid dangling modifiers. With these examples, we come to the end of this lecture. I wish you a very pleasant time. Good night.